AfterBuzz TV, starting place to the likes of WWE female superstars Cathy, Kelley, Sonya, Deville, and Zelina Vega proudly presents Women's Wrestling Weekly, the world's first podcast and YouTube series dedicated exclusively to women's wrestling, featuring all the latest news as well as interviews with top superstars in the industry. And now, AfterBuzz TV's own gorgeous lady of wrestling, TK Trinidad.
Bonjour, you're watching Women's Wrestling Weekly, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, aka the Canadian Assassin, and look what we have in here.
Yeah, I mean, in studio, you know what I mean?
In studio. Well, actually, you know what, I'm lying. I can't even rag on you. So, Evan definitely covered me last week. I had too much stuff to do, and I was like, Evan,
shaking, baby.
I need a favor. He did it, so he stopped crying. Last week, he stopped crying. This week, he's tough, in. Man. Evan T. Mack, aka Coco Cena, aka America's Chocolate Sweetheart, aka King of the Stretchies, aka Barry Mack's son, aka Heidi Mack's husband. He's just everywhere. So welcome, Evan T. Mack.
Thank you very much. How's birth season going?
Birth season's going well. We had a little birthday party where we had a whole bunch of wrestling folks. We talked wrestling.
A lot of wrestling talk.
We talked wrestling for like 6 hours.
We really did.
But it was good. We had Rosenberg and all these. You don't know who those people are. You need to be watching AfterBuzz Wrestling on everything. But let's get into the show.
Yes.
We have an amazing show every single week. This week is no exception. I want to shout out Kevin Harvey, because I've been harassing him for a while. He put me in contact with a lot of wrestlers, like, oh, you need to talk to her, you need to talk to her, you need to talk to her. So shout out to Kevin for sure. She is part of the Killer Machine. She's reps Ohio. Please welcome Navaeh. How are you doing?
Good. Hi, guys.
Hi.
So what's going on? You look like it looks hot there too, like it's in LA.
It is. It is super sunny and hot, and I just got out of the gym, so I'm a little extra red-faced here. But
yeah, I mean, you have to stay working. You
gotta stay in shape. You know what I mean? It's all good.
Got to.
So my thing is the great thing about women's wrestling at the moment, because I saw some previous interviews where you were saying that like you just wrestled the same women. We haven't had multiple like people doing our show for the second time, maybe 3 or 4 times, and we're now in our 3rd season.
That's good. So
there are so many women wrestlers that it's just hard to keep track and know everybody. So when I did some digging into you've been in the game for a minute. Like you professional status. You've been in for a minute. So tell us the difference between when you started versus now and the changes.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all the girls that have come in within the last 5 years, you're welcome. But I have been doing this for about 14 and a half years. And when I first came in, it was more about appearance than it was about wrestling ability. Mm-hmm. So we had so much that we had to prove, especially being a female. I was a very young, fit, blonde female. So I wasn't taken as serious as I had hoped to be. And so I had to physically prove that I could get in there and wrestle with the best of them. Mm-hmm. Nowadays women are given more of an opportunity. They all different looks, shapes, sizes. You get to come in and be just a wrestler, and it's not that, oh, she's here because of how she looks. It's no, she's here because she's great in the ring at what she does.
Right.
So that is a huge difference, and it's right now it's that empowering women feeling that we all have that's been around for 10 plus years.
Now, is it also a combination of, because there's so many more female wrestlers, you still get some of those female wrestlers that do it for more the glitz and glamour versus the love of wrestling? Like, can you sniff those women out, or those wrestlers out? Because it's both men and women.
Oh yeah, you absolutely can. You can tell who has a passion for it and who treats it like a hobby. It's definitely something I've learned over the years.
So,
do those people last typically, or do they eventually get weeded out, or do you see them kind of like hanging on for their social media following and stuff like that, or do they eventually just fall by the wayside?
I guess it kind of goes both ways. There are some people who've been around for quite some time that, for lack of a better word, kind of still doesn't have a clue, still kind of treats it as a hobby. And there's some of those who have been in and out the door very quickly to where you almost forget their name.
Oh,
damn.
I mean, it goes both ways. There's girls that I have wrestled, and I honestly don't ever recall even wrestling them until someone brings it up to me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, she was around for a cup of coffee, is how I like to describe it.
Cup of Joe.
Forgettable. Now, I've kind of noticed there's a certain type of wrestler that comes out of Ohio.
It's true.
So I'm from Canada, so just to preface that, if you guys are joining us for the first time, I don't know why, but just in case you joined for the first time, I've noticed that the Ohio wrestler, they have just a certain type of something. Yeah. Could you describe what the Ohio wrestler is?
Yeah.
I think an Ohio wrestler, and not just Ohio, but really Midwest, we're a little more diverse because of our area. We get to travel more Southern and Eastern. So we kind of get like the different styles of like the East Coast and the South, where as far as when you go to the East Coast, is that East Coast style. When you go to the West Coast, it's the West Coast style. We just kind of have a mix of all of it. And the Midwest style is definitely more trained for the old school style. So you really, really have to learn how to wrestle, and you can't come in and just hit a cool move and be done.
It also seems that you guys talk like a lot of smack in a good way. Like it's almost.
Oh, we all have attitudes. Absolutely.
It's almost like from birth. This is how we are rolling. Like, come and test me type thing.
Do y'all develop that because it's like cold in wintertime? Do y'all like develop like a bitter like disposition? Is it because of like the Great Lakes or something? What's going on?
Well, I think for the women, honestly, because most of the women out of Ohio and the Midwest area have all been around for 10 plus years. So we're carrying that. Women have proven themselves, that we're still in that we have to prove ourselves that we're just one of the best and we're ready to go at all times.
Now, you started with WOW, so your Hazard. So how did that come about?
My tag team partner, Jessica Havoc, we are the ones who are part of the Killer Death Machines. Mm-hmm. She did last season with WOW, and they were looking to do a tag tournament, and she wrestles under the name of Havoc there. And they were like, we're going to do a tag tournament, and she, along with Tessa Blanchard, said, well, we have the perfect girl to bring in, and it all just happened that fast and that great.
Nice. So what was your experience?
It's actually been one of the best experiences I've had in wrestling. I feel like WOW is a place where I really get to be me, and they really do focus hardcore on the women. Mm-hmm. Like, it's nothing more than everyone has so much passion for women's wrestling there.
Yeah, I went to not this past taping, but the one last September, and it was just an amazing experience to see so many different women from different sizes and shape, but also great wrestlers. So it's like, it doesn't matter if you're a woman, they have the talent, great storylines. So just FYI, you guys are filming in September again. I think the third taping. So you'll be out for that as well, right?
Yes, and then right now they're replaying season 1, and then season 2 will actually air in September, which will be the season I'm part of.
Nice.
To start with.
So is there anything, because I'm familiar with WOW, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but is there anything that you are hoping as far as storyline wise, or something that you want to see in the next taping, or something that people could look forward to?
I personally want to see the tag titles around my waist. I am extremely passionate about tag wrestling, so right now I just want all the tag titles everywhere.
She's like, give me the smoke. I want it.
Give me all of them.
So now you, like we said, you've been around for a minute. You've established yourself. Is there any place that you want to go that you haven't gone yet, as far as promotion wise? I
don't have like a specific place set in mind, but my goal is always to hit at least 5 new promotions a year. That's great. So I mean, obviously going bigger and being contracted is, what I hope to do.
Right.
But I just like to debut at new places, just places I've never been, especially new states I've never been. Now, so for me, going to California, LA for WOW was the first time I'd been to California, and that was a huge goal of mine. So I knocked it out of the park with that one.
Oh, nice. And now, any other places you want to travel as far as worldwide?
Yes, I would love to get over to the UK. I've had a few setbacks with that as far as like knee surgery, and I do have a 3-year-old daughter, so I actually had a UK tour lined up when I found out I was pregnant. So all that got canceled, and so I'm kind of ready to get back on that track.
Yeah, because you're a mom of 2, right?
I am.
Mom of 2, professional wrestler. So you sew your own gear?
I do.
Damn.
I also have a guy that helps me, so I don't do all of my own gear. The stuff that's really busy and extra flashy, I can't take credit for that. He's way better than me.
But you
still sewing though.
And your child's 3?
It's crazy, man.
They walk all over the place. That's not an easy feat. Now, what else do you want to, as far as women's wrestling? So we started at a certain point where, you know, they're concentrating more on looks versus talent. Now we're getting to a place where it's more talent, and, you know, I think every woman's beautiful, so we could care less about the looks. But where do you hope to see women's wrestling?
I hope to see the negative connotation of being called a woman wrestler to go away. Like, a lot of people do take offense. Oh, she's a women's wrestler. I don't take offense because I'm a woman. And to me, I'm a woman. And to me, being called a woman wrestler, it empowers me. It makes me proud to be called that, because I don't look at it as women's wrestling being any less than men's wrestling or any other type of wrestling.
Right.
So I'm kind of with everyone else as far as, like, I want it to all be equal, but I also want it to just be such a solid thing for women to be in the ring, and it to be women are booked solely because they are just so good. I want it to go away with, oh, there's limited number of women, because that's not the case anymore. There's women everywhere.
Yeah.
So I just want it to be every woman that appears is just so solid at what they do.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be. It's something where it's just like, oh, you just so happen to be a woman, but you're like a great wrestler.
Yeah, you're still doing your thing. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's a problem to emphasize that you are like a woman wrestler. You know, that's what you are. You know what I mean? But let's not get to the point where that means you're lesser than the men wrestler. You're just a woman wrestler that's on equal footing with the man wrestler.
See? And that's exactly how I've always looked at it. I've never looked at it as being less of an athlete, less of anything, just simply that's my gender, so that's what I'm called. I've never thought of it as anything more. Now,
you are also married to a wrestler.
I am.
This is like a lot of wrestling couples. Like, we have Melissa, she married Brian last week, I think it was.
Yes.
I don't want to say what is that like, but because you guys have like an interesting story. So can you break it down for folks who don't know? Because it's one of those things where people should know who you are, and the people who do know, they do know, and the people who are like, oh, I had no idea. Like, just break it down for folks.
Okay, so I am married to Jake Christ. He is part of Impact Wrestling, OVE, Ohio versus everything, because, you know, us Ohio people. We have actually been married for about 6 years, but we've been together for almost 18 years. So we are high school sweethearts, and we kind of jumped into this business as a couple before. So our relationship is a little bit different, and people were always kind of shocked to find out that we're married and have kids, because we do very much try to keep our wrestling separate. I've never wanted to get bookings based off of him, and vice versa. We've always wanted to kind of put our feet on the ground running and prove that it's us doing the work, not us being a couple that's doing the work.
Right. Yeah, you did that very well, because I had to do a little bit of digging. I was like, well, wait a minute. Okay, so I mean, I love when that happens, because then you can really rely on, I mean, you could do it either way, but then you know for sure you're getting booked just based off of my skills and not, you know, who I'm married to or who I know and stuff like that.
Yes, because I would have already been to the UK multiple times if I just said, hey, I'm Jake's wife, bring me over here.
Would you be opposed to that if someone booked it properly or booked the storyline properly?
I wouldn't be opposed to it, especially now at this point in our careers, because I have done so much, and I do have a lot of experience for the amount of years that I've been in. So at this point, I felt like if that's how I got booked, I would still be able to step in and prove that it really was all me.
Oh, yeah.
It was my talent. It may have been like his name or someone else's name who kind of got my foot in the door, but at the end of the day, it'll be my talent that keeps me there and gets me there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, is there anybody that you want to wrestle, either male or female, that you haven't wrestled yet?
I don't really have that. These are the people I want to wrestle. I do have my favorite opponents. I'm always just really ready to wrestle anyone I haven't. To me, it's always a challenge to wrestle someone new.
Say Ohio. She's like, bring it all. I'll take it. So now, as far as, so you're going to take on anybody who comes to you. Intergender matches, you're down for that?
Yep, I do those all the time too.
And now, are your kids into wrestling?
No. My oldest definitely spent more time traveling with us because we were, you know, in our early 20s when we had her. So we did take her with us to more things. But now she's actually 15, so she has developed that, oh no, I'm not doing that mindset.
Damn,
which I'm okay with. My 3-year-old, if she sees it, she gets really, really hyper and starts trying to do flips and stuff, so we try to keep her away from it too for now.
Oh my God! So you said women have to prove themselves in the industry, which I do believe is true. Does that keep you sharp, or is that a pain in the ass?
For me personally, it keeps me sharp, but I think it's just because I have such a competitive side. Like, everything about me is always competition. So to me, if I can go in there and they go, "Oh, hey, yeah, you can hang with one of the guys," I'm like, "All right." Like, I don't take it as anything negative. I'm like, "Yeah, okay, let's keep getting better and see if I can hang with the best guys." Type deal for me. I actually just recently we wrestled for bar wrestling last week.
Oh, nice.
Jessica Havoc and I had a tag team match, and we wrestled an intergender match against Heather Monroe and Jake Atlas.
Wow.
And it was crazy to me because when we got in the ring with Jake Atlas, he did not at all, like, it did not cross his mind that we were female, and that's been one of my favorite intergender matches I've ever had. He got in there and he looked at us as completely equal opponents. And to me, that was a match I walked out of going, wow, I haven't had my butt kicked like that in a long time.
Yeah.
And it was amazing, though. Like, it really made me feel like it was just four exact equal opponents in the ring.
It's awesome.
Yeah, bar wrestling, I need to go.
Yeah,
but,
me too.
like, their matches are just so, I wish.
Yeah, the bookings are crazy.
Yeah, the bookings are amazing. I wish
Their crowd is like no other. I've never been part of a crowd where you feed off of their energy so much.
Wow.
Yeah,
it was refreshing. It was so refreshing.
So we are going to get into some rapid hot tags. So
Women's Wrestling Rapid Hot Tags.
There we go. So we're going to hit you a couple questions. You can say the first thing that comes to your mind. So always early or always late?
Always early.
Last person you text?
Husband.
If you didn't sound happy about that one. If you were to listen to one album for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, Purple Rain.
Oh, that's a good one. If you can have a superpower, what would it be?
Was it teleportation?
Oh, yeah.
Take myself from one place to another without being in a car?
Yeah, I like that one too. Costume parties or pool parties?
Pool parties.
What is the one thing you love about yourself?
I love how honest I am.
That's that Ohio right there. If you were a crayon, what color would you be?
I'm sorry, what was it?
If you were a crayon, what color would you be?
Ooh, red.
And a favorite meal. If you had one meal, your last meal on earth, what would it be?
Spaghetti. Homemade spaghetti, though.
Dope.
Boom. There is. Now, where can people find you?
All over. I have social media. I have social media for WOW and for my regular wrestling, so under Navaeh, under Hazard. And I do constantly post my schedules from where I'll be at as well.
Oh, nice. And then Evan pointed out to me that your name, Navaeh, is heaven spelled backwards. Mm-hmm. How did you, how did that come about?
I actually have a 21-year-old niece, and her name is Heaven. And she was whiny when she was little. No one's named after me. And I thought I was being so clever when I came up with the name Navaeh. I didn't know that it was a thing.
Oh, I love it. I didn't even know. I was like, oh, that's a cool name. And I was going to, is there a meaning to it? And Heaven's like, it's heaven. So I was like, oh. Damn. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Next time you are in LA, you are more than welcome to come down. We'll bring somebody for you to have a match with. Maybe you can have a match with Evan.
Dope.
We'll see how that'll go. He's like, yeah, I won't be there that day.
I'll take the bump, man.
Thank you so much for coming on. We definitely, you are on my radar, therefore you should be on everybody else's radar who's ever watching the show or listening to the show who doesn't know who you are. You should know who she is, but just in case, because those matches, I watched quite a few of them. Mm-hmm. I don't understand. Some people who are booking are missing the mark. So we need to put you on there. But thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
No
Bye.
problem. Have a good one. Oh my gosh, such a sweetheart.
Dope.
All right, so we're gonna have Evan hit that.
Honest too, though.
I mean, that's that Ohio thing. I mean, Jeff is honest most times, I guess.
Yeah,
sometimes.
he is.
So let's hit the start of the week real quick.
Yeah,
Women's
man.
Wrestling Star of the Week.
This week's Women's Wrestling Star of the Week is Lindsay Carriage. She's an American professional wrestler and valet, better known by her ring name as Vita Scott. She has wrestled for various American independent promotions, including Ring of Honor, Shimmer, Women's Athletes, and Absolute Intense Wrestling, where she's a former AIW Tag Team Champion and AIW Women's Champion. She's also wrestled internationally in both Canada and Japan. She also was studying law during her professional wrestling debut in 2011 and graduated from Drexel University School of Law in 2012. So she's a lawyer. That's in Philadelphia, by the way. On May 10, 2014, Scott made her debut for Total Nonstop Action Wrestling in the tapings of TNA's One Night Only Knockouts Championship pay-per-view, where she lost to Gail Kim. On November 7, 2014, pay-per-view, Scott competed in TNA One Night Only Knockouts 2, losing to Gail Kim again. On April 22, 2016, Scott competed in TNA One Night Only Knockouts and losing to Rosemary. So she's taking some L's, but she's actually progressed into this point where she's getting into more and more opportunities. Yeah. But if you want to watch a really good match, Blood, Sweat, and Beers match, she fought Chelsea Green, and it's on YouTube, and it's really good. She, like I said, getting better and better each match.
Yeah, I've heard her name around, so definitely.
Lindsay Carriage.
You definitely check that out.
Scott. Hope we get on the damn show.
I mean,
what's up?
We've only had what?
Reach out.
Is it Taya, Ariel, Sunny?
Yeah. Hogan?
Kira hasn't been on the show. She's only been on once. So yeah, I think we only had 3 or 4 people actually come on the show for a second time.
That's true.
And we're tailing the end of our 3rd season.
Just to show you how far women's wrestling's come as far as the crop of talent coming through.
Crazy.
Lawyers wrestling and whatnot.
Yeah, and we haven't missed a show. We are consistent, folks. So if you are watching us for the first time, it shouldn't be your first time. We have we have almost 100 plus shows for you guys to watch. 100? Almost. We close. We like at the tip.
Damn!
So definitely check that out. Where can everybody find you?
Evan T. Mack, Instagram and Twitter. Coco Scene in the building. What's up?
Oh yeah, he's doing like slow-mos and sports shows and all that good stuff.
The director chose the slow-mo.
I mean, I like the slow-mo.
I do too.
I remember it.
It's a nice director choice.
Yeah, so it's on his Instagram. You have to watch it. It's very impressive. So definitely, if you're not following the show, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at WPW Weekly. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. You should already be subscribed, but just in case you're not, hit that subscribe button. Yep. We'll really appreciate it. Leave comments. We also love that too. If there's any female wrestler that you want to see on the show, and or male, depending the qualifies, you need some qualifiers.
Yeah, you gotta be a little, you know what I mean?
Like,
connected
something.
To a female kind of got some insight.
Yeah, something like that. Let us know in the comments, or you can hit me up at TK Trinidad. As per usual, for our folks who have been here since day one, without you guys, we wouldn't be the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Till next time, guys, see you next week. Ciao.
From executive producers Kevin Undergaro, Maria Menounos, Phil Svitek, producer TK Trinidad, and me, Mark Donica, your voice of AfterBuzz TV Wrestling, we ask you to rate and comment on iTunes, subscribe to AfterBuzz Wrestling on YouTube, and find us on all social media. Thank you for watching Women's Pro Wrestling Weekly. See you next week.